Are you that guy? I was that guy, which is why I'm here to tell you the 5 things you need to avoid so you don't end up being that guy. So number 1, you've taken a great photo, you look at it through the viewfinder, you're happy with it, you post it, but guess what? You're showing tyre. Don't show tyre. It's the quickest way to let everyone know that you are an amateur. You might as well just hold up a sign saying, I am an amateur. And what about the front end of the car, the front 2 tyres? Doesn't matter about the back, because you can always see them. But the front ones, if you're positioning the car in a certain way, never position it and then turn the wheel the opposite way. So you're following the line of the car as you look at the picture, and then you just see a tyre. It looks stupid. Turn the wheel so you can actually see the rim, and then it's going to follow the line of the car, and then you're going to see the rim as well, also turn in the way that the car is facing in that position. All right, so just, it's small, but just keep note of it. Whenever you position a car, make sure you can see the rim whenever that front end is in shot. All right, don't do it, because I'll find your account and I'll report you for harassment. Moving on, you've got the best camera. You've got an amazing car, you've got a really good angle, the rim is facing the camera, but you've put the car in the wrong location. This just ruins the photo. Delete the photo, it's ruined. The location is almost 50% of the photo because the car is in the frame, but the rest of the frame is that location. And if you've put an Aston Martin DBS in Tesco's car park, that's just not gonna work. It looks stupid. Or if you take an off-road 4x4 to a nice racetrack, it doesn't work. All right, so just make sure you've researched what the car is, a bit about the car, where you'd normally see the car in like films or adverts, and try and replicate that in the location that you take it to. There is a bit of leeway. Sometimes you can take like a Lamborghini down, or like a Porsche GT3 down like a country woodland road. North Borders did it in one of his photo shoots. That does work sometimes, but don't just try and do it for the sake of being edgy and be like, let's take this Lambo on a dirt track for the sake of it, because it looks sick. Majority of the time, it doesn't. Just match it with the car and find something that syncs up nicely to bring the whole photo together, all right? Because if you do it, I'll find your account and I'll report. I'm not doing that again. Right, number 3, you've done all those things correct, right? You've done everything you should have done. Then you've brought it into Lightroom, you've grabbed the saturation, the blacks, the shadows, and you've gone all the way to the harshest side. And you've just forced everything into that image. So it's really dark and saturated and there's loads of blacks. It's like, yeah, fucking sick edit. It looks sick. Well, guess what? It doesn't. It's too much to look at. It just looks amateur and you just become that guy. Look, there's that guy throwing loads of stuff into the photo that doesn't need to be there. Less is more when it comes to editing. You should just complement some areas of the photo to just bring it all together. You shouldn't force something into the photo. And don't get me wrong, this is another one where it's kind of, there's a bit of leeway because you can force an edit if you want like a certain style. Like North Borders does some crazy edits sometimes and they work, and I've done some more out there edits and they work, but in certain situations don't do them to every single photo. It is nice sometimes to actually desaturate it and pull some stuff back. So if you put something in, you always kind of want to pull something out. Does that make sense? So if you add saturation, maybe take the blacks out a little bit, or if you've added loads of shadows, maybe up the exposure a little bit just so that it's not dark, 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 or everything to the harshest side, because it just all piles up and you get left with a photo like this. And it's just not that great compared to a photo like this. So yeah, just take that into consideration. We all do it. Get it out of your system and move on. Number 4 is the most common, and I do this all the time. I really have to check myself every time I'm on a photo shoot, and it is not putting the car in the center of the frame for every single photo. It works in certain circumstances, but don't have the whole photo shoot based around having the car in the center of the frame, because it gets boring and all your photos look the same. So a good way to stop yourself from doing this is get the grid lines on your camera. So you've got the grid lines set up, you've got all these little boxes, you want to put the car in, like, see it as 3 rows. So you want to put your car in the left row, and then you want something in the middle and something on the right. Or you put your car in the middle, but make sure you've got something on the bottom and the top. But then we want to move away from that, so maybe put the car in the top and have 2 things in the bottom, but you always want to have something different. Don't have the rest of that dead space in those squares where the car isn't, full of just the same thing, like just one whole wall. You want to make sure there's something evenly spread between the squares. It's called the rule of thirds. There's different variations for it, but the general basis is having a subject here, this is here, this is in the second part of the frame, and this is in the third part of the frame. You've got 3 different things across the frame. It's lovely and composed, and it just looks really nice. Okay, so just take that into consideration, put the grid lines on your camera, and stop putting the car in the middle. This is a note to myself, really. I should be saying this to myself because I'm going to go on a photo shoot today, and I guarantee you all the photos will be in the center of the frame. So we are on to the last one, and this is the worst one of them all. This is just straight, you are an amateur, give up photography, and it is shooting on Nikon. No, it's not. I don't even know why everyone hates on Nikon so much. I've never even used it, so I can't even tell if it's good or not, but it's just funny. But it's just putting on the right lens. Same as location. You need to make sure you've got the right lens for the location that you're in. So if you've got a really tight location, there's not a lot of room to step back, and you've got a 85mm or 105mm on, and you can only zoom into that car, and like you're trying to squeeze the car into the frame, and it's just filling the entire frame, and it just looks really cramped. It's not that great. Whereas if you're in a wide location and then you've got a really, really wide lens, like a 16mm, it's also going to be a bit like, looks like a spin shot on an iPhone. There's not much around the car. It's really too wide. That's too much. So you need to know when to use the right lenses. A good rule to follow is a tight location. Probably want to put on a little bit of a wider lens, and then a really empty, spaced out location, you kind of want to put on a zoom lens. But then again, there is a bit of leeway because sometimes you want that lost feeling in the photo. But just, I wouldn't really go 16mm to be honest with car photos. I just think it leans too much towards that side of an iPhone. It just looks like an iPhone. Unless you're doing interior shots where you want that whole interior in, then you can go really, really wide. Or if the car's in this tiny little alleyway and there's loads of stuff around that car, then yeah, go really wide. But other than that, I'd probably stick above 24mm. But yeah, just stick to that rule of 85mm or zoom lenses for those wider locations, and then for those tight photo shoots, probably bring it back a little bit and go a little bit wider, like 50mm or 35mm. So yeah, just take into consideration what lens you're putting on when you're shooting cars. And then a general one, just to finish off, is just to take your time, like slow down. I see too many people at an event, like there's a lot of people around, they don't really want to get in anyone's way, and they're just like, oh quick, I'll just get the shot I always get. Oh, bosh, there it is, might move on, and then like you just keep getting the shots you always get because you're not taking your time. Just look at the car, have a little walk around, look at it from different angles, be like, okay, I could shoot through here, let me go see what it looks like from over here, and you'll stumble upon angles that you didn't even think that were there because you've actually taken your time to walk around the car and just slow down, because it then gives you the opportunity to go through all of those things I've just told you and check yourself and make sure you're not doing any of them, and then you've got a really nice photo to post to your Instagram, and then for me to come along and report you for harassment. So there you go. There are the 5 things that you need to avoid to not be that guy and to just upgrade yourself in car photography. And if you want to upgrade your editing skills, I have Lightroom presets in the first link in the description. You get 10 raw files, 10 banging car presets, and then 10 walkthrough tutorials. I've also started a Discord. We've got a little community going where we share photos. We do little live weekly editing sessions where I'll share my screen, you can share your screen, I'll send you all raw files, and then we edit them together and just help each other out. It's quite cool. If you want to join that, that'll be in the link underneath that. Plus all my gear's down there as well. So if you want to check out any of my gear, any of the recommended beginner gear that I've got down there, check out all the links. You know the drill. But yeah, if I've helped you out, help me out, click subscribe, and I'll see you later.